I mean, like, I've recently had to do the deep dive into Stellantis, and, you know, how do you build parts when they've changed hands every 5 years? Like, there's got to be some variation there across the board, and just, like, little minute things, like bolts and, like, you know, the thread pitches they use here and there, like...
Yeah, it's... all that does is create mass confusion when these companies are always resetting, you know?
Yeah. And then even, like, you know, somebody like Jim Farley, who's kind of just misdirected across his whole platform of cars. All OEMs seem all over the place, but you have to work with OEMs in a way because what they make, you want to sell products for, so you have to kind of like...
Yeah, luckily these days I feel like the part that we need, which is like castings, and they're pretty similar. You know, there's not a lot of variation, but I'm sure there's people who are way more, you know, frustrated.
But like new cars that are coming out, like you have to kind of hope that they're good enough where people want them to like be worth developing a part for, or else it's kind of like, you know, me as a consumer need people like you guys to make parts that actually are worth.
Well,
kind of all has to coexist in a way.
To a degree, you're right, but I mean, they're not building any cool cars anymore either. So, like, I think Ford's the only one building anything reasonably cool. Like, I mean, maybe there's a Corvette, but they've basically killed off every other cool car that exists.
Honestly, I think the only other cool cars are coming out of BMW.
In Japan, I feel like the Japanese they're not like wool over their eyes thinking everything's going to be the...
But like BMW, the new stuff is all pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And even like their Supra.
Yeah. The big three are just building pretty boring and terrible cars nowadays. With like they're just so focused on EV stuff, and it's like the 80s are happening again, you know?
Just like oil crisis all over again. And
yeah, don't worry about what the customer wants. We're going to build whatever the government wants us to build.
It is weird as a customer feeling like what you want doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
And then you get the things that do appear are just like, no one wants this.
Yeah, you
it's
wonder
across the board.
Yeah, you wonder how it made it off, you know, the whatever decision table it was on.
And then even like the Hemi, they just kind of stopped with that, and it was like, okay, I guess we're done with this.
Well, and then you like, okay, I'm a EV hater, but like, you look at these EVs they're building, and they're god-awful ugly. Like, nobody had a problem with how cars looked. You know, like, they're just, like, building these spaceship-looking things that, man, if I was driving an EV, like, and I just kind of wanted to be, like, I don't want to go full, you know, crazy EV person. I just want to have it. You don't have a choice. You're just driving this weird-looking thing that, you know, makes weird sounds when you drive down the road. Have you heard that Cadillac that, like, it's like has music playing when it drives?
Yeah, like I don't hate the humming a little bit, but there is odd noises that sounds like a wheel bearing going. Sometimes you're just like, I think that's just a wheel bearing going.
It sounds like there's like a harpsichord just rattling in the trunk or something. I don't know.
Even like when the Chevy Volt first announced, it was like, why is this not just a normal car? Why does
just make it look normal. Like you can have a faux grill and all that, and like not have it shaped all goofy.
Yeah, you would think,
but.
Even the BMW M5, they just announced it, and it was 5,400 pounds.
Wow.
It's like...
How's that possible?
It's hybrid system. It's like, okay, so it's a Silverado?
I mean, from a braking standpoint, that's pretty dangerous because now you basically are what a Chevy truck used to weigh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is... I mean, that's just a lot of mass rolling down the road. That can be a weapon.
And it doesn't look like it. You'd look at it and be like, oh, it's a normal, nimble car.
Yeah, tires and stopping and like...
Well, that's the other flip side of all the heavy cars that everybody keeps saying is the tires are now creating more pollution because the cars are so heavy that rubber pollution is now a bigger concern than exhaust pollution.
Oh, make no mistake. There's nothing clean about any of that stuff, any of the stuff going on. There's just... people with stocks that are pushing the agenda, you know?
Yeah, somebody's got to get a bonus. Some CEO.
Yeah, we'll change how cars are made so we can make more money.
Exactly. Guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti Clips coming up.